Order filled. Order placed. Order cancelled. Order cancelled.
Okay, this is a setup one trade for the news. We've wiped Asia low. We've run into some liquidity, taken stops. So I've added a couple of contracts pre-news. Let's set our TP.
Order placed. Order cancelled. Order cancelled. Order placed.
Okay, I'll explain all this in a minute. I'm setting up a meeting. How's the trade going? Good so far. I'll do a full explanation later.
Order cancelled. Placed.
Mm.
Order cancelled.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
Hey, good mate. How are you?
Yeah, I did good. Can you see my
You
screen?
got your? I can see your screen.
Brilliant. Yeah, so I tried doing it on Google Chrome and it wouldn't let me share the screen. So I tried it on Edge, which seems to be a bit of a better browser. So it's all working now. And what you're actually seeing is ATAS running on a VPS. And obviously, I'm in an active trade here on NQ.
Yeah.
I'll explain it in a bit, but we have a target of around
Order cancelled. Order placed.
like 18,000 or so.
Oh, okay. So you got a bit.
A bit to go.
How you going, mate? You're a bit more rested. You're.
Yeah, I was first half of the week absolutely exhausted, and yeah,
What?
it's just kind of burning the candle at both ends. It's not like I'm going out and partying. It's just waking up at 4 and then getting to bed at like 10. It's not ideal. It kind of catches up with you, and then one day you just kind of
Yeah.
break down. I'm sure you've experienced something similar, but I'm all good now and rested, and we're in the trade here.
Yep.
Which I'll explain soon. Once we've hit our target, we'll get onto the learning kind of material and your questions. Actually,
Okay, mate. No worries.
while we're in this, do you want to kind of fire away with any kind of questions that you have?
Yeah, yeah, and cut me off anytime. So the first one I got is just it's more to do with the charting because you know how I was,
Yes.
the charting and marking up and things.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think Ninja Trader 8, it doesn't seem to have like a 4 hour. It doesn't seem to be a really good charting kind of software. I don't know. It's probably more
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. I agree.
Um,
I've used Ninja Trader for about a month and I gave up on it because I didn't like it for charting. So I moved to ATAS and TradingView as well for my kind of general annotations. So yeah, that's what I'd recommend if you can. That's kind
well,
of
I'm using Atas, but I thought Atas was actually quite advanced. Like, because looking at your charts, you do your marking up on TradingView, don't you?
yes, yes.
Yeah, because can you do it on Atas? Is it you can do them? It seems pretty good.
Order filled. Order placed.
Yes, you can. You can do it in your markups in ATAS. But what I
Order
like to do
cancelled.
is keep the ATAS trade clean. Sorry, the ATAS charts clean, just so they
Yep.
don't become a mess. And I like to do like daily annotations on TradingView. Um,
Gotcha.
so yeah, that's what I'd recommend. Ninja Trader. I've used it for a while. It just doesn't feel like it's been designed by traders. It feels like it's been designed by just software developers who don't know much about trading. That's just my kind of general feeling. I spoke to Apex about this, and they were like, "All our clients use Ninja Trader," so I don't know what you're talking about. So yeah, I like. There's some features on Ninja Trader that are just terrible. Like their heat map is dreadful. Um, and see, like drawing rectangles and stuff, I like to do this so I can be
Yeah.
precise in my levels. That's quite hard to do. It doesn't snap to the grid on Ninja Trader, so it's just little niggles like that which kind of move me away to ATAS, which I really like. Having some stability issues with it, but now I'm running it on a VPS. It seems to be okay. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. Cool.
So do
Oh,
you know
I'm not.
do you know what a VPS is?
No, but I figured it's some high power
It's
server or something. A server.
it's basically a slice of a server. So it's like a virtual desktop that you can run things on. So this I've got two of them. I've got one free from IC Markets, and
Yeah.
this one is from I think it's called forexvps.com or something, and this is their high frequency one, which is one step down from a dedicated server. So a dedicated server is you get your own server with a GPU, but I've just went for the kind of high frequency option for now and see how it works. So ATAS is running a lot better. This trade is going great. I'm really happy about it. Yeah, I'm recording it as well. So let me know if you don't want to be in the YouTube video, that's absolutely fine. I can put it unlisted, but I'm just recording it for kind of educational material. Does that make
That's
sense?
okay, mate. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. So we'll see. So yeah.
My question,
fire away with
oh,
that.
mate, you're gonna laugh. You're gonna laugh.
What?
So, well, so I tried to do the, go through the process of marking up and doing the Asia high, Asia low,
Yeah.
the Frankfurt and so forth. What first of all, I couldn't figure out what the Asia code was. Is it the Tokyo session? Is that what it is?
Yes. So what you want to do is,
I've really gone back to basics, mate. Sorry.
No, it's absolutely fine. So what you want to go to is this website, Forex Market Time Converter,
Forex. Yep.
and this will tell
Forex
you the time zones. So Tokyo,
Time we can.
11 p.m. to 7 a.m. GMT. So you can set, your Aussie time, and
Yep.
then you can figure out the sessions. You mentioned about, like, can I do a shortcut and just use an indicator to do this? I really recommend you don't, because it helps you to get your head into the charts and formulate ideas if you do it manually. So yeah, that's deliberate. Yeah,
That's cool.
you can get apps. Sorry, not apps. Indicators that'll mark sessions for you if you want. Just look on TradingView, but I recommend you do it manually and just start marking up the levels mentioned and doing market structure analysis. So I just showed a chart of NDX there. Let's just have a quick look at that. So NDX is the actual. What is this crap?
Digital ecosystem.
So this is the website, forextimezoneconverter.com. So note that down.
Yep. I've got. Thanks for that. Thanks heaps. Yep.
Yeah, no worries. So this is the Nasdaq index, not the futures. So the kind of situation we're in.
Yep.
Just market structure wise, is we're still making higher highs. This looks like it may become a lower low. This is the daily time frame, but it's not complete yet, so we're still in a daily uptrend because we're making higher lows and higher highs. Okay, then you can go down to 4 hour and check higher highs, one lower low. So we'd say this is kind of consolidation on the 4 hour, and we've got two gaps here to consider, this gap and that gap.
I really like that chart, and it's just so much better than. Might see if I can get onto the trading view. I think.
Yeah, it's. I just have the essentials package, which is like, I don't know, $14 a month or something. That's all you need, and you have split screens and stuff like that. So let's just see.
And my next question. So my next question is a cracker.
Yeah.
You'll laugh at this one.
No, go for it.
So, even though I couldn't find the actual Asia session code or what have you to try and figure out what the Asia low or and the high previous the high was, high or low or what have you, I thought, well, what if I even was to find that? How do I transfer whatever the low was of that index onto my chart, whether it's the ES or the NQ? Because it's not. Is it like one's apples and one's oranges? Like I didn't understand how I mark the low of one market of an index onto the low of another one that I'm trading. Does that make any sense at all?
Not really, to be honest, but let's have a look. So
I guess
at this point in time, 2 a.m., this was the Asia low. But the Asia session goes on till 6 a.m. So we had a new.
Oh, so it's a time. It's a time. It's a time thing, not a. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a time thing. So what we've done, this is one of my setups. We've taken both Asia lows, this kind of de facto Asia low, and this real Asia low, and there's a lot of liquidity resting at 18,100. So I think we will break these highs. So that's why I'm long. I tried going long in here. I took some profit and then gave it back. And then we had the ECB announcement that kind of spiked out the Asia low.
Yep.
And this will all become clear once we actually delve into the setup. So currently long. Let's just keep an eye on that just to make sure we're not giving money to the market. So
What I was
struggling a little bit, but I'm going to keep my target where it is. What I could do is just trail my stop slightly.
Order cancelled.
Because
I was thinking.
Apex,
Okay.
Forex, sorry, futures prop firms, they
Yep.
have a trailing stop. So let's say your drawdown is 5,000. If you were to make 5,000, then lose 5,000, then you would liquidate. So the money you make notionally, that counts
Yep.
towards your trailing stop. So you need to make sure that you're kind of trailing your own stop so you don't get liquidated. Because if I make 5k and then it comes back to nothing, then that's me out. That's me liquidated. So we do need to trail the stop a little bit,
Order cancelled.
just so we're not
Order placed.
falling foul of that. Don't worry about footprint reading. We haven't got anywhere near that yet. We've only really covered market structure. Higher highs, higher lows, that kind of thing.
I think you've helped me out heaps. Just I'm a hands-on sort of person. Like I actually have to practically do it and to learn.
Yeah.
And but I was laughing my head off. I thought I've got to go back and ask him the Asia low as an example. The Asia low. How do I do whatever the index yen was to transfer that price?
No, you don't need to go on the yen. You just go on the Nasdaq. You get the time. You look at what time made the low. In this case, it was at 2:24 a.m. And then the Asia session continued, and then made another kind of low here. But this was the true Asia low. So what you see is we spiked into it and then rallied. So this happens quite a lot. Session range manipulation. And it forms the basis of one of the strategies that we'll cover. It's not too. It kind of may seem complicated at the start, but it will become clear as the days go by. But yeah, because we're in an active trade, I kind of need to just keep a bit of an eye on this.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. I get excited when I watch you trade.
Yeah. It's I kind of enjoy it. I've got one of these straps that like monitors your heart rate. And I've tried to keep like my heart rate low while I'm in trades, so I'm not going into like my sympathetic nervous system. If that makes sense. Because I want to keep the logical side of my brain working all the time. And
not the adrenaline.
Yeah. It's a constant battle because markets are fundamentally uncertain. There was a famous piece of work called the efficient markets hypothesis. It was like an academic work that showed that demonstrate that markets are quote unquote a random walk, and they are fundamentally unforecastable. Now I completely disagree with this, but it's an interesting piece of work to read if you can find it. This comes back from like my economics class, so I hope to prove to you that the efficient market hypothesis is not doesn't hold, i.e., the markets are not a random walk, and there is some method to the madness. So yeah, I guess the next step, we'll cover a bit more market structure just to recap. So if we're on Nasdaq, you can see the hourly is starting to make higher highs and possibly a higher low now. This could turn into a swing low. Obviously, the market is very bullish on the higher time frames. So in general, our bias is up because most of the time frames are pointing up despite this correction. I think this gap may fill today, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
So when it comes to doing markups, you this is kind of turned into a bit of a mess because we're halfway through the week. But you're able to kind of draw logical scenarios of what may happen based on where liquidity is residing. So that was the plan that I made yesterday. We make a move down here on news and then up. So it didn't quite happen. It was close but no cigar.
Yep.
But then it did happen this morning. So yeah, you just have to go with the flow. There is a big random element to markets, so it's all about mining out the elements that are predictable, and that's what I hope to impart over the time. So yeah, let's just keep an eye on this trade. I want it to resolve. It's very close to our target. This is the time in sales. This shows you all of the orders coming in and at what time. This is the depth of market. We don't really use these. We don't use these a ton. I prefer to use the Bookmap heat map because you can see how the depth of market evolves over time. Because there's a lot of spoofing that goes on, fake orders that come in and out to move the market. But yeah, I prefer to use Bookmap as a kind of liquidity location tool. But we'll get to that later. You can also trade without Bookmap, and I did for years. I traded just using footprint and price action analysis, and I was profitable doing that. But yeah, when I added Bookmap, there's a lot of kind of nice dynamics that you can notice that we'll explain once we've covered the strategy. I think the next thing to look at after market structure is the profiles. We'll go into your learning plan first. That's the public channel.
So I'm definitely going to get trading view. So I think I've got to get my charting going and my markups down pat.
Oh wait, I noticed we haven't started a learning schedule just to keep track. So I'll make this private, so it's only you that sees it, and you can put questions in there. What's your name on the group?
Cool.
What's your name in the group again? It's something like Jason.
That's me. It's got the silly penguin. That's me with a book on Jason and then numbers. Jason.
Let's see. I'm not seeing you.
Marcy, no, I'm not in there.
Mitch.
I've got the same icon as Marcy or Marco. It's like the penguin with a book on their head, that whatever it is.
All right. I don't know why that's happening, so I'll just mark it as trader for now. So I'll figure that out another time. So day one, that was just introductions, market structure basics. So get into the habit of trying to determine the market structure on different time frames for whatever asset you're trading. Market structure basics. What else did we cover last time? I think that was it, really, wasn't it?
Oh, swing highs. Oh, for the
swing highs and lows.
Swing highs and lows. That was
and
internal and external.
Yeah, external and okay, gotcha.
Market structure.
So, do these concepts make sense? The ones that we've covered?
Yeah, they actually do.
Yeah.
I just want to start doing the markup so I can see it.
Yeah.
I reckon I'll get going. I think I'll sort of go ahead in leaps and bounds once I get my chart going.
Yeah.
Because I can sort of read. I get a bit. I'm like, okay, I've read enough,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why it's so funny when I actually went practically to try and do it yesterday, and I just fell into a heap. Everything turned to poo. That was quite funny.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the best thing to do at this point is not like we cover quite a lot of assets, so we cover NQ, ES, CL,
Yeah.
UB Ultra Bond, what else? 6B, British Pound. So that's quite a lot. For years, I only traded 2 assets, and for quite a while, I only traded one. So don't
Yeah.
get stressed out trying to look for hundreds of different markets, because it'll just confuse you. So just focus on one, maybe NQ or ES, or just whatever market kind of speaks to you personally that you prefer.
Yep.
For me, I think indices are much easier to trade than Forex.
Yep.
The likes of NQ and ES, much easier. I mean, they're not easy, but they're easier than Forex. Same with crude oil. And UB is
Yep.
also quite nice to trade. That's a basket of 30-year maturity bonds. So yeah, they're all quite good to trade. But I would focus on the indices first. You get quite nice moves on them. You can see this trade this morning. You know, we've got quite a clear kind of buy.
Yep.
Hopefully we get up to target. We're close. I just want to see that hit before we start covering the rest of the material. I think the next thing we'll cover is the profiles and how to
Yep. That's fine.
integrate that. Let's just pull up a couple of things first. So this is the NQ volume profile. That would have been the Asia low. You know, so you kind of smashed below the Asia low, and we're now moving to the Asia high.
Yep.
This Asia range manipulation happens a lot. Yeah. I'll explain it fully once we really get into the meat of the matter. But we can think of targets here, like this is a previous day value area low. So that might be a good target.
Yep.
That's 18,008. If we check the market profile, which is time and price, we have a slightly different picture. We've left behind a single print this morning, which is a very low volume node. So we may also go to 18,018. So that kind of area. So keep it modest as the target and just say, we'll target 18,000. That's good enough. Even though I think it'll go a bit higher. We might get a sell after that, but we'll see. I think we can just trail the stop up a bit more, just so we don't.
Order cancelled. Order cancelled.
Yeah. So obviously you can copy these across multiple accounts. So 2,000, you can have 20 accounts. So that can be, if I booked that now and you had 20 accounts, that would be what, 60K or something. Yeah. So that's a year's salary for an investment manager. I like my last job. That one day's work is the same as a year's work of office grind. So
that's
to me, it's not a choice. It's what do you call that? Is it a Hobbes's choice or something? It's just a no-brainer. This is much. I mean, it took me a long time to get to grips with this, but when the penny drops, it's really beautiful. You see we're heading to our target now.
Yeah, it's driving up.
See, it's quite good profit. P&L's ticking up. Sometimes what I do is you can just change it to percentage or ticks, because you can get emotions from P&L. If you see a figure like, oh, that looks good to bank, but you don't want to trade that way. It's called trading P&L, where you just trade based on what numbers is on your P&L rather than a logical target. And the logical target for me is 18,000. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
So let's see if we get there. I might just book this so we can just move on to.
That's okay. I don't. To be honest, Jeff, I'm okay to take off and because I'm happy to get the because before we go to the next stage, like I need to get my charts and stuff all down pat, and
Yeah.
um,
So
and yeah, I'm okay to do that. Yeah,
so what's your plan? Are you gonna get ATAS, or are you gonna work with
I've,
TradingView, or I would
I've got
recommend,
ATAS.
yeah, I would recommend that highly. It's a
It's
re-
fin. It's
it's really
incredible.
yeah, it's a fantastic piece of software. It's really incredible. It feels like it's been designed by traders rather than just software developers. It's just everything's in place. All the templates are there. With the likes of Sierra Charts and NinjaTrader, once you get it, you discover that you need to buy all these add-ons and all this crap. With ATAS, it's kind
Yeah,
of just got everything you need.
it,
So it makes sense. This piece of software. Another one is Quantower, that one of my
yes,
colleagues used, but I've never used that one, so I can't talk about it. They're based in the UAE, but I think it's quite a similar piece of software to ATAS. But yeah, it is pricey, but I mean, you know,
it's,
you make your
yeah.
money back. It's okay.
Oh, and the quality. It's. I was so impressed, and because I got the oh yeah, Rhythmic hooked up with it as well, and yeah, it's really good. It's actually, I was quite. It's incredible.
have you
Did
have
you?
have you been watching some of the screens? Have you downloaded my templates?
No,
Okay,
the templates.
I've got
Oh,
templates.
sorry.
So go to Order Flow Software and
Oh, okay. Yep.
download these four. Just
Oh,
download them,
okay.
and then you can go to import. You'd go to this screen. Just pull up any chart. Then you go to
Yep.
settings, and then you would import the downloads. So that's these four.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's all you need really. These four screens to trade well. So one of them is footprint. That's kind of for your entries and exits and analyzing very like in a granular basis. Um,
Yep.
the other one is the market profile, which is time based of time and price. So there's a whole
Yep.
field of auction market theory, which kind of goes along with this, which you may want to read into. But I'll explain what you need to know.
Yep.
I can see today, like we're struggling with this level, which is the current day's point of control, which is where we spent the most time today. So I can see the market is struggling to get through that. So yeah, it makes sense that we're kind of pausing here. But I think we may get up to this single print. So I'm gonna hold on to it. It's much better to maximize, one trade rather than try to get like 10 small trades because your variance is going to be very high. So you want to kind of hold to your logical take profits,
Yep.
which takes some effort. That's kind of been the hardest thing for me personally, is not trading what I call P&L and actually just trading to a logical target. So it's a good idea not to watch like your P&L going up and down because it can make you quite nervous. Um, yeah, I'm being serious.
Absolutely.
It's I can see prices moving up here, so I'm not concerned. I'm not even looking at the P&L. So we've moved beyond this point control. That's basically where the market has spent the most time today. So if we zoom into this, we can see what are called TPOs. These
Yep.
letters. I don't know if you can see.
Yep. Yep. Is that time, price,
Yeah,
opportunity?
yeah, time price opportunity. So you get the market open, which is the A period,
Yep.
which is 30 minutes of time. So let's figure out where that was. It's quite high up. So this is the initial balance. We opened up here, and then moved down quite rapidly. So B period is the next 30 minutes. C period is the next 30 minutes after that, and so on and so forth. And it builds up what's called the market profile, and this is a TPO chart. It's called. So on ATAS, it should show you where price is at the moment. It's here, I believe. Usually it has a line that lets you see. Maybe I'm just
Okay.
too zoomed in or something. But that's the current price. So we're in the
Okay.
what's called the U period at the moment. Well,
Okay.
what we do in general is we don't trade using the current day's profile usually. Sometimes we do, but in general, we're trading relative to previous days TPOs. So this is
Okay.
yesterday's party control up at 18058. So we need to take note of these levels because they're very important. So this is the TPO, okay, the market profile on the left. On the right is volume, but we have a separate chart for that.
Okay.
So the other concept here is the value area, high and low. So that's where we spend 68% of the time.
Yep.
And ATAS will mark out the value area high and low. That's where we found fair value for that day within the value area, if that makes sense. So
Yep.
price spent the most time in this area. So we say, okay, fair value has been achieved between these two levels.
Yep. Gotcha. Yep.
Lawrence is just up. So the other chart we have is the weekly profile. Now this tells us a lot as well.
Okay.
This is the current week. I want to change it to ES because that was a bit more interesting for me. So this is the volume value area here from last week, not this week. This is this week's profile building.
Gotcha. Yep.
And if you notice, we traded down into the volume value area. We failed to make a lower low. We've made a higher high. So in my mind, the market is still bullish. The move down that we experienced a couple of days ago was just to kind of test this area of fair value from the previous week. So nothing to be worried about. We're still bullish for now. This trade is still running. The other screen we use is the volume profile. So I don't know if you got a chance to see Trader Dale's books, volume profile and order flow. Those are quite good reference books. I don't teach his teachings, but they're quite
Yep.
good to have as reference just to get your head into things. So yeah, this was the previous day, denoted by these two dotted lines. And you see this profile here? This shows you
Gotcha.
the
Yep.
volume at each level during the whole day. Okay? And then we have the
Okay.
profile on the right, which was just during the cash hours. Okay? This was the volume during the cash hours, i.e., after the opening bell. So I like to
Gotcha.
separate them and analyze them separately. That's I don't know. That's just, it might be unique to me, but that's just one thing that I like to do. The other thing we have is the initial balance. That's this gold bar. That's the first hour
Right.
of trading. It's called the initial balance. We have VWAP, so that's the volume weighted average price. So it's a moving average that includes volume in the formula. So we don't really use it in our strategy much, apart from taking profit, because it acts as a kind of dynamic support and resistance. So I took a couple of contracts off at VWAP. So volume weighted average price, okay? Does that make sense so far?
Yeah. Yep.
So another line here, this is where VWAP closed the previous day. So this is also relevant to the market, and we'll mark it on our charts. Yeah, we've also got a value area high and low within the profiles that will be different to the TPO value area high and low, because this is based in volume. Okay, so it's slightly different.
Yep. No worries.
So we have points of control here as well. Usually it's the same during the cash hours and the whole day. So this level we have to watch closely. We'll mark it up. I've already put it on my trading view chart. That might be a target to try and hit the high volume node from the previous day. So that's the volume point of control, the highest volume of the day.
Okay.
And if you notice, the previous day, before that, we had a volume point of control that provided support this morning. The Asia low was actually formed from the volume point of control from 2 days ago. So that's quite interesting.
Yeah, wow. Okay.
So these make good trading levels. I call them trading levels. And I've got another concept called key levels. But I'll tell you about that when I explain the main strategy. I just want to cover the profiles for now. So,
Yeah.
generally we don't reference the current day's profile, same as the TPO chart. This volume point of control that we're building right now may not remain here. It may, move up here or something like that, depending on what happens today. News flow. Haven't checked that apart from the ECB. I don't think there's much on the wire, but let's have a look. Forex factory calendar. So it's Thursday. Forex factory calendar. This is a good bookmark to have. Red denotes high impact. So, be careful around here. That this was the ECB's main refinancing rate. So it came in as forecast. So, no surprises. It didn't create much of a market move, but it did give us an opportunity to get long below the Asia low in this trade, which we're still running. Okay.
Yep.
So news often catalyzes moves that were gonna happen anyway, if that makes sense.
Yep.
I have a big background in economics. I've got master's degree in economics, CFA, so I'm very familiar with fundamentals, but I don't include them much in my trading because I like to keep it more technical. So that it's more of a repeatable edge, if that makes sense. But you do kind of have to be aware of what these news releases mean. Just as a trader, it's kind of your job to know what the main refinancing rate of the euro dollar is, or the ECB. Yeah. The next thing we have in the just coming up now is the ECB press conference. So that'll be, what's her name? Who's the ECB chair again? Forgotten her name.
Marco.
Her name is Lagarde. Christine Lagarde press conference. So then you got Jay Powell testifying at 10 a.m. So we want to stay away from the markets during this because anything that the Fed central banker says usually sends the markets into a tailspin. Whenever he opens his mouth, he says anything. People draw clues from that on whether he's hawkish or dovish on interest rates. So yeah, he's giving very hawkish language at the moment. I.e., he's not gonna drop rates. That would be called a hawkish. Dovish would be if he's planning to loosen monetary policy by lowering rates. So he's giving very hawkish language, but the market doesn't really believe him that he's not going to cut rates, and we can tell that by looking at the US 10-year yields as a good kind of gauge of what the market expects interest rates to be. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, US 10-year yields currently quite bearish.
Yep.
So this is indicative of the market expecting a rate cut soon, maybe in March, even though the central banker is saying he's not going to do that. So the real interest rate in the market is actually set by bond traders, not really by the Fed. It's kind of both.
Okay.
The Fed obviously set the interest rate, but they do that by what's called open market operations, which is buying and selling US government bonds in order to manipulate the interest rate. So it's something we need to keep an eye on. see our
It
trades.
suddenly gets very complicated, mate. That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't want to make it more complicated than it really is. I just want to.
No, it's good to know. It's good to know.
I don't want to completely ignore fundamentals and to say they don't exist, because they do. So yeah, that was just a kind of overview of, the supply side of the economy. There's also the demand side of the economy, and that's releases like NFP. So we have non-farm NFP on Friday. So
Okay.
that's more the demand side of the economy, how many jobs are being created. So this is probably the biggest event in the calendar, apart from the Fed's interest rate. So we generally stay away from NFP and don't try to trade it unless you're a gambler and you like, if you're a casino type. But yeah, generally stay away from NFP. So we're getting to target. We're going to push up.
It's going up, isn't it? Yeah.
I told you. Well, we're keeping our target modest at 18,000. I think it will surpass that, but for me that's low hanging fruit. I'm all about low hanging fruit and getting easy trades. There we go.
Holy crap! Look at that.
We're at 4K now per account. I think we'll just take 2 contracts off
Order cancelled. Order fill.
just to book some profits, from that lift of the offer. So yeah, I'm quite confident we'll get to our target. And if we look at the price action chart, yeah, we're targeting these kind of what are called poor highs, equal highs, double top. So I'm fairly confident the market will get above these highs. Yeah, this chart is quite complicated at the moment, just because there we go.
Midweek, yeah.
We've broken the Asia high now, so there we go. Target met.
Yeah, wow. Holy crap! Well done.
Yeah, no worries. Good to see. Just about to hit. Totally relaxed. My heart rate is low. There we go. What a beauty. This is actually not my account. It's one of my friends. So
Oh, you'll be happy.
Order cancelled.
that's it. Booked. Now that would have been about 5K. So happy days. We don't have to trade more. What I really recommend is if you get a good trade in the morning or something, is don't trade anymore that day, because the euphoria will carry through.
Yes.
And it'll make you overconfident, and you'll try to pick reversals, and the overconfidence can absolutely destroy you as a trader. So yeah, be very watchful of
Good.
that. If you get a good trade like we just did,
Yep.
it's time to stop and go do something else. Now we could
Yep.
find more trades, but for me that's booked, so I'm gonna just stop the recording.
Yeah.
So that was called Setup 1, basically Asia low manipulation. We entered quite aggressively on the break of this stacked imbalance. Okay, that's a bullish sign.
Yep.
So I entered very aggressively because it was during the news release, and we got to our target no problem, and it will probably surpass that. And this is the time you want to look at volume profile, points of control, all that kind of jazz. So good trade.